Okay, from rapid video creation and scaling it to the topic of the webinar. We've all been on a few webinars since March, haven't we? And I think some of us may say that there is a death by webinar, and that's what this next presentation is about. So the presentation is entitled Death by Webinar. This is why your webinars bring your business no value. It's going to be brought to us by Casper Noreen Frid, the video marketing strategist at Enterprise at 23. So, Casper, welcome to the stage. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Yeah, as you just mentioned, my name is Casper. I work with video and webinar strategy for our customers, enterprise customers here at 23. If you do not know 23, we are building the tools to empower organizations to relate and communicate with the world via video. We do so for our global customers via offices in Copenhagen, London, and San Francisco. That being said, in the market right now, we see a very interesting thing happening because we are changing from a textual paradigm to a visual paradigm where most people are actually looking for videos and webinars when they're investigating new products and services. And in this crazy day and age, webinars are on everyone's tongues. So we need to do it in a different way. And it's not about if we're doing webinars, it's about how we're doing webinars. And this is very interesting because in our yearly survey, State of Webinars, we see that 70% would actually not recommend their webinar setup, often being due to having too complicated flows that is not easy to set up. You often have to go into up to 5 platforms to set up a webinar, and it becomes very complex. So today I'm going to share with you 3 insights, 3 claims that often stands in the way for enterprises creating value in this, that we often help enterprises changing from the beginning of their setup. And my first claim is that your promotion do not qualify audiences towards your own sites. And this is very much about understanding engagement in your social media setup, in your email marketing, and in your search setup. To give you a case, our customer Universal Robot, they saw they had an average engagement on social of 20 seconds on LinkedIn. So instead of just promoting the usual text, they would do a 20 seconds video saying, hey, if you're interested in packaging applications and robots, then we're doing a webinar for you. They had 2 upsides of this. One, that they fed into the social algorithm of people not spending too much time on the site. And they saw a qualification of the audience. So suddenly they got 60+% sign-up rate from click to sign up to the webinar. So this becomes very powerful, and it becomes very powerful because we use the setup of the social channels to lead people to our own sites, which is my second claim, that you are not owning the webinar experience. And this becomes very important because once we move people to our own domains, to our own sites, we can start tracking data, we can start tracking consents, and we can start controlling the entire user journey. And this becomes very important because when we stop hosting on third-party embeds, then we can track everything in the webinar, we can brand everything in the webinar, but we can also control the entire post flow, meaning depending on if people are shows and no shows, we can do different things all the way to conversion. We can track every engagement point on visual that is very deep understanding of analytics. And even more important, when we have the conversions, we can actually backtrack the content to see how do we invite the best audiences? How do we qualify the best audience in email marketing, social media, and in our entire search setup, which becomes very powerful if we integrate all this data. Which leads to my third claim, because data is the power when we do enterprise webinars. Data is what is the power of digital marketing. So data, if collected, is vanity-based and not integrated. And let me give you a great example. Our customer, Obsidian Digital, says that people engage 53 out of 58 minutes on average in our webinars. What other channels delivers like this and scales as well? Well, no one, but only if you collect the data. Because if we do not collect the data or have a silo where this data is isolated, how would we use this in the right way? How would we make sure that the right teams are notified? How would we make sure that marketing automation is in place? Because even though visual is important, it's not everything. People also download things. So we need to have all this webinar data integrated. And it's very deep because we can see who downloaded what, who answered what in the polls, who did the different things, as long as we own the experience and we don't have to collect this from a third-party tool in our setup. And this is exactly what we're doing at 23. So we set out with our customers to change the world of webinar experiences. So first off, we changed 4 things, to be honest. We changed that no downloads is required. This is so important for enterprises. We changed that all features should be in one flow. You shouldn't use 5 tools for setting up branded emails, landing pages, live experience, and post experience. It should be automatic. It should be set up once, and it should fit your setup. All data should, of course, be complete and integrated, as I just mentioned. And then my last point here, if you do not know 23, it's because our solution is fully white labeled to the brands that we're working with. That being said, I think that was my time, right?
Very good, Casper. Yeah, bang on time. Thank you. So I hear a lot of marketers, especially B2B marketers, talking about what's after the webinar. We've done it, it's gone. I guess your story is that there's different ways to deliver it. Could you share some brands that are doing a very good job with the webinar experience and making it more engaging, using data, as you said?
Yeah, actually, we see a lot of brands that are doing this, but what's very interesting is that most brands are just starting to realize this. So most brands have not set up like real flows that actually engage this. But we do see brands like Universal Robots, as I just mentioned. We do see brands like Folion in Holland and UK. We do see brands as Binder, for instance, that are really utilizing these things. And the main thing is that we understand the user journey. So the user journey should be different depending on what I engage with. And this is why we need to own the experience. Most brands are still putting their on-demand webinars on YouTube and third-party platforms that will take away all SEO, that will take away all the digital value that webinars give you as an end.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Unfortunately, we have to move on to the next slot. So appreciate it, Casper.